Hi dear friends. Friends, in the last part we discussed about the collision theory. Particularly, we tried to discuss the collision theory for unimolecular reaction, and last type of discussion was based upon the Lindemann theory, because last time we have seen that for unimolecular reaction, or in case of an unimolecular reaction, only one molecule is involved or take part in the reaction, but as per the postulates of collision theory, at least two molecules are required for the collision, because rate of reaction depends upon the number of collision take place per second per centimeter square of area. Actually, in biomolecular reaction, as the two molecules are involved, so the collision is easily possible. But in unimolecular reaction, as only one molecule take part in the reaction, that's why the collision or the postulates of collision theory cannot be applicable satisfactorily, and hence it is necessary to apply the concept of biomolecular reaction to explain the mechanism of unimolecular reaction, and that is done by Lindemann. And that's why here whenever we want to discuss the unimolecular theory, unimolecular reaction based upon the collision theory, the one of the most assumption is given by means of an Lindemann, and this is called like the Lindemann theory of unimolecular reaction. Dear friends, last time we have seen that according to the Lindemann, there is always time lag between activation and the decomposition, and if this time lag between activation and the decomposition is larger, then the reaction behave as the unimolecular reaction. It's very important. Definitely here we people are interested to explain the unimolecular reaction based upon the collision theory, but no doubt we are going to discuss about the unimolecular reaction based upon the biomolecular reaction or with the help of biomolecular reaction. So here we are going to discuss today the Lindemann theory for unimolecular reaction. Last time we tried to came up to this, and with the help of simple unimolecular reaction, we people are interested to explain or to derive the equation for the rate of unimolecular reaction. So dear friends, here if we'll discuss about this a simple reaction in which only one reactant A gives the product. So here the only one product, capital A, it gives the formation of formation of product, and here as this reaction is involving the only one molecule A, so this is the unimolecular reaction. But this unimolecular reaction, according to Lindemann, take place in various stages or the number of stages, like initially the one reactor molecule A collide with another reactor molecule, and it gives the formation of an molecule with the highest energy called as activated molecule or the activated intermediate with the formation of another reactor molecule. What happens? This activated molecule undergoes decomposition to form the product. So this is the important stages during the conversion of this reactant into product. Initially the two reactor molecules collide with one another, they give the formation of activated molecule with the rate constant K1. So this is the rate constant for the formation of activated molecules, and again this activated molecules may be deactivated, so it will be reconverted again into reactant. So rate of deactivation of this activated molecule A star is K2, while this activated molecule may get converted into product with the decomposition. So rate of decomposition is indicated by the another rate constant K3. So there are three rate constant. K1 is the rate constant for the formation of activated molecules A star. K2, it is the rate constant for the deactivation of activated molecule to form the reactant again, and K3 is the rate constant for the decomposition of activated molecule to form the product. So here definitely K3 is the rate of reaction, it will decide the rate of reaction. Let me adjust this. Okay, dear friends, if we'll see these three rate constant, already I told you. So this is in the first stage, molecule A get activated to form the A star, and its rate constant is K1. And if there is a time lag between, and if there is a time lag, then this activated molecule get deactivated. It's very important. If there is a time lag between the activation and the decomposition, then this activated molecule will be again deactivated, and the reverse process take place. Reverse process take place means the deactivation take place with the rate constant indicated by K2. Again, if there is a small or no time lag, if there is a no time lag between the activation and the decomposition, then the activated molecule get decomposed, means it gives the formation of product, and for that the rate constant is indicated by K3. So K3 is the rate of formation of product, and definitely it's very important in order to decide the rate of reaction. Hence, rate of formation of activated molecules A star, definitely it is according to the rate law, it is always directly proportional to the concentration of reactant, and there are two reactants. Here you can see that here there are two reactants. That's why the rate of formation of A star, it will be directly proportional to what? Concentration of A into concentration of another molecule A. So that's why the overall equation for the formation of activated molecules, so the rate of formation of activated molecules will be equal to K1 into square of concentration of reactant. Similarly, the rate of disappearance of activated molecules, disappearance in the sense, you can say disappearance in the say rate of disintegration. You know very well, this activated molecule, there are two possibilities for the disappearance of this activated molecule. Either it will undergo deactivation or it may undergo decomposition, but deactivation is responsible to form the reactant again, and decomposition is responsible for the formation of product. So this rate of disappearance of activated molecule, it will be equal to K2 into A star into A. Why? How this is minus K3 into A star? Because when this A star will be converted into, will be deactivated into reactant again, at that time this A star and A will be reactant. That's why K2 into A star into A. And when this A star undergoes decomposition to form the product, then at that time only one reactant, A star, and its rate constant is K3. That's why it is minus K3 into A star. I hope you will be able to understand this. While in this case there are two species reactant, and in this case only one species reactant, respective rate constants are K2 and K3. But this process indicates the deactivation and it indicates the decomposition, means the product formation. So this activated molecule A star is found to be a very short lived, it is high energy intermediate, and that's why it is having short life, and it is the high energy intermediate formed during the reaction. That's why here its a concentration, exact concentration is known, and it's very important to know the concentration of this activated molecule, because this concentration of activated molecule will decide the rate of reaction. And that's why, as its concentration is not known, hence the concentration of this activated molecule A star is expressed in terms of concentration of reactant capital A. So how we can express, how we can determine the concentration of this activated molecule? So according to the, okay, let me add this. Okay, thank you. So according to the steady state approximation or steady state principle, rate of formation of any or the particular intermediate is always equal to the rate of disappearance of that intermediate. Then the rate, it means that the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to the rate of backward reaction, and in that case equilibrium is achieved. In the same thing, according to the steady state approximation, rate of formation of intermediate is always equal to the rate of disappearance of intermediate. Already we derived an equation for rate of formation as well as rate of disappearance of the intermediate. And here if we'll put that values in this equation, these are the equations. So this is the rate of formation of intermediate, and this is the equation for what? This is the equation for the rate of disappearance of intermediate. And here A star, which is the intermediate, which is the activated molecule, is the common here. And in the bracket there will be K2 into concentration of A plus K3. So I think there should be something wrong. It should be plus. It should be plus. So here, therefore, if we will write this equation for the concentration of this activated molecule, then it will be equal to K1 into A square divided by K2 into A plus K3. And as we are aware about this, that the concentration of activated molecule is very important, and its rate of decomposition will equal to the rate of reaction. Hence the rate of reaction is always, or is here, proportional to the concentration of what? It is depends upon the concentration of activated molecule, and that's why we can write the equation for this rate of reaction. So this rate of this reaction is equal to minus dA by dt. You know, this is the equation for the rate of reaction, change in concentration of reactant to the change in time, is equal to K3, which is the rate for the decomposition of activated molecule A star into a concentration of activated molecule. So this is minus dA by dt is equal to K3 into concentration of A star. This is the equation for the rate of reaction, rate of this unimolecular reaction. So here, if we will put these terms in this equation, then definitely already we have the equation for A star. So this is my rate of reaction minus dA by dt is equal to K3 into A star, and we derived the equation for the concentration of this A star, means the activated molecule. And here it is what? Here it is concentration of A star is here K1 into A square divided by K2 into A plus K3, and this equation we can put here. Therefore, rate of this reaction can be written as, instead of A star we can put its concentration and K3 into K1 into A square divided by K2 into A plus K3. And now this is the equation for what? This is the equation for the rate of this unimolecular reaction. And definitely instead of all this K3, K1 divided by K2, all these are the rate constant. It means that these are the constant. Instead of this constant we can put the other constant. And there are three cases particularly based upon the same equation. And here when if we compare the rate constant of decomposition, means the rate constant for the formation of product, with the rate constant of its deactivation and the concentration of reactant, and when this K3 is very small as compared to K2 into A, it means that this K2 into A is very greater than the K3. It means then the concentration of reactant A is very greater. Then the rate of reaction can be modified as, can be written as K3 into K1. It will be same like the earlier one, into A square divided by, instead of K2 into A plus K3. K3 is very small, is nearly equal to 0, is negligible as compared to K2 into A. That's why instead of their addition we will put only the K2 into A. So this A will get cancelled, and K3 into K1 divided by K2. Instead of all this we will put what? We will put only the K. And that's why we are getting the simple equation for rate of reaction as rate of reaction is equal to K into A. And this is the, you know, if you'll see this rate equation according to the rate law, rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of how many reactant? Only one reactant. And that's why if this K3 is very small than the K2 into A, or as compared to the concentration of reactant, then this reaction behave as, or it represents unimolecular reaction. Remember that whenever the concentration of reactant capital A is very greater, because K20A is very greater, then the deactivation take place to the larger extent, and the reaction follows unimolecular mechanism. It's very important, means whenever the concentration of reactant is greater or is higher, then the reaction follows deactivation to the larger extent, and the reaction follows unimolecular mechanism. Instead of this, suppose we will decrease the concentration of the reactant. If we will decrease the concentration of the reactant, then what will happen? So here that can be discussed in the second case, that whenever the K2 into A is very small, then the K3 means the rate of decomposition. It means the rate of decomposition is greater, and the rate of deactivation K2 is smaller. Therefore, the rate of reaction is equal to K3 into K1 into A square divided by K3. So this K1 K3 divided by K divided by K, it should be K. It should be K3. So this K3 and K3 will get cancelled, and it will remain only K1. K1 into A square, and according to the rate law, rate of reaction is directly proportional to how many molecules of reactant? 2 molecules of reactant, and this equation represents the mechanism for biomolecular reaction. So that's why we can say that at a lower concentration of reactant A, the activation is almost same as the rate of reaction, and hence the reaction follows which mechanism? Reaction follows the biomolecular mechanism. I hope you can able to understood this. So whenever the concentration of reactant is very low, then the reaction follows biomolecular reaction, and here the activation take place. And whenever the concentration of reactant is very greater, is very higher, then it leads to deactivation, and the reaction follows unimolecular reaction. So here we tried to explain the unimolecular reaction with the help of biomolecular reaction mechanism, but definitely the time lag between the activation and the decomposition is very important, and if this time lag is very greater, is large, then the reaction follows unimolecular mechanism. And these are the, and we at the same time we try to discuss the two cases for unimolecular reaction. One is at the higher concentration of reactant A, and another one is at the lower concentration of reactant A. So we came to know that we can conclude here, at higher concentration of reactant A, the deactivation take place and the reaction follows unimolecular mechanism, while at lower concentration of reactant A, the activation take place which is same as the rate of reaction, and hence the reaction follows biomolecular reaction. So dear friends, I think you got a clear idea about the Lindemann theory for unimolecular reaction. You understood all the things regarding with the Lindemann theory for unimolecular reaction, and there should not be any doubt regarding with the same. So in the next part we will discuss about some other parts regarding with the collision theory, some other concept concerned with the collision theory, how it is related to the thermodynamics or the thermodynamic concept. So that we will discuss in the next part. Till thank you very much. So we will resume again to discuss the thermodynamic in the chemical kinetics. So thank you very much.